Good evening and salutations, my soap opera fans. So, question tonight. Is Hayley Lawson the dumbest woman in daytime history? I don't know about that, but she is pretty fucking dumb. Okay? She is pretty fucking dumb. We're gonna sit there and talk about that, as well as the other soaps. You know how we do. So let's sit there and get in the roll call. And let's get this started. Let's make sure those sounds are good. Okay, cool. Amy's in the chat. How you doing tonight? Queen of the South is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Tommy is in the chat tonight. How you doing tonight? Susan R is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Danny is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Blackmon is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Sean is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Yeah. At the bank is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Allison is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Okay, cool. Good. I'm glad to hear that, Sean. I am, Susan. I had the day off, so it's always a pleasure. It's always a good day when I have the day off. Susan. Thank you for asking. Monique is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Queen of the South is in the chat. How you doing tonight? I'm doing good, Sean. Hope you had a good day as well. Funny thing is, Sean, you gave me some interesting things to think about. Maybe some future videos I may be doing, and that's because of you, Sean. So thank you. Oh, you play golf today? Okay, cool. Allison says, okay. Of course, Queen, of course. Now, where's my music at? Yeah, it's interesting. The things that I learned from my subscribers and stuff like that, it's like you gave me like a really good topic. And I'll just sit there and say, well, when I put it out, you'll see what I'm talking about. Yes. Here's my music. Tommy says, Hayley is so stupid. Yo, she was getting on my nerves. Now, Sean says Tamara Brown. Yes. Tamara Brown is joining the Young and the Restless. That's very true. Now, Ed says Hayley was dumb for hugging Nicole. Hayley was dumb for being there yesterday. The fact that Hayley was there. Okay, all right. So here's how I'm going to do this. Since I don't feel like actually being frustrated tonight. There is 20 people in this chat. There is, yes, Tamara Braun is actually joining Young and Restless. I was cool with her leaving Days of Our Lives because I felt like she didn't actually have a purpose there once Tripp left the show. Okay. Now Autumn says, Albert, can you please tell me why is Willow so dang idiotic? Nina was trying to talk some sense into her daughter, but Nina should just leave Willow alone and let her fall flat on her ass. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, Autumn. I talked about that in my review. Like, yo, and the thing about Willow that really annoyed me is that she's still blaming Willow. She's still blaming Nina for losing her kids, and she was like, "Well, if you would have told me, then I wouldn't have been with Drew. But you're with Drew now, so honestly, tell you the truth, you are. It wouldn't have mattered. You're literally proving that by being with Drew right now. So what are you talking about?" Okay, so yeah, there is 28 people in this chat. There is only one of me. I am not going to get to every single comment. So just understand that if you call me by name, I may not get to you. And at some point I will, but just, be cool about it, all right? And we'll have a good time. Now, Nina started all this, but Willow is an airhead. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. When she sat there and said, well, you're the reason why I'm losing my kids, I was like, if you would have told me about Drew, I'm like, well, would it have made a difference? What's good, Lakeisha? Damn, it's been a minute. It's been a hot minute. How have you been? Eagle, in 2 years or less, do you think B&B will try to redeem Luna's character like One Like to Live tried to do with Todd Manning? Luna is pure evil in case no one knew. You know what's really annoying me? Eagle? Is the fact that Sheila heard what Luna said about what Luna did to Will. When Sheila sat there and said, but he thought he was sleeping with a lecturer, you knew what that was. You knew damn well what that was. You knew that was non-consensual. So my whole thing is like, what's annoying me is that they're not saying what it is. And why is that, right? Even when Katie was like, first of all, I don't think that Katie's giving the best advice as far as not saying anything. Because in all reality, if it happened to Bill and Bill didn't sit there and tell Katie the truth, she would be pissed. She would be upset. She would be somewhat upset. Now Tommy says Tamara new character on YNR. I don't know who she's going to play, but whatever character she play, I hope she ends up with Nick Newman because Nick hasn't gotten any love interest in a while. Monique says, why do B&B do a storyline let this again? Didn't they get a lot of backlash with the whole Zende, RJ, and Luna situation, right? All right. I'm gonna go back to your comment in 1 second. Let me read these two people's comments, and then we're gonna talk about that, Monique. Sean says Albert Liam is the biggest coward, even though Thomas stole his wife. Now he wants her back. Why do you think he's a coward? Now, Ed says Willow pissed me off because she has all this anger for Nina. Like Lucas said, she's addicted to Drew. Ooh, that's a good one. Thank you, Eagle. Eagle. Okay, I'm gonna get back to Monique's question in a second. Monique says, question poll of the day: who's more evil, Drew or Luna? Okay, so Drew from General Hospital or Luna from Bold and Beautiful. Now, if I had to sit there and put my money, I would sit there and say Luna. But it's he didn't confront him like a man. What should he have done, John? When you sit there and say confront him like a man, what should he have done? What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Explain what that means. I don't want to sit there and interpret it. Drew hasn't murdered any. Drew hasn't murdered anyone. Has he? Nope. Okay, so it's interesting that you say that, Monique, right? Why is it so loud? How do I feel about Brady? What? How do you feel about 1 second, Danny? What's good, Francis? No, I didn't hear about what Rampage Jackson's son. I didn't hear about the whole. I'll take a screenshot. I'll take a look at it. Yeah. 1 second, Rob. All right. I took a screenshot, so I would definitely take a look at it after. Thank you, Eagle. It was good, Francis. Okay. Now, what did you say, Ron? Jeez, how come I can't get? Okay, there we go. Okay, yeah, no, I'll take a look at it, Eagle. I mean, I don't really watch wrestling, so that's probably why I haven't heard of it. But yeah, no, I'll take a look at it though. Okay. Now Ryan says, "How do you feel about Brady being suspicious of the adoption?" How do I feel about it? I mean, it's a sus story. I mean, I don't have a feeling about it. Like, um, I don't know. Listen, I feel like that's kind of an odd question to ask me, though. How do I feel about his suspicions? I don't know. Somehow, I feel like I don't really like. I don't feel anything about it. I feel like he's suspicious of it because you know the stories just not making any sense. Like Sophia at one point said it was a boy, then said it was a girl, and then the story isn't adding up. So yeah, he's suspicious about it. I don't feel any sort of way about it. Uh, and Danny says, "I feel like Luna's going to get pregnant. I don't know why. I just have a feeling." Well, Danny, I mean that's what they're hinting at, right? Yes, hit the like button. Yes, hit that like button. Thank you, Danny. I mean, thank you, Francis. That's her plan. Um, Autumn says, "I ain't gonna hold you, Albert. That I ain't gonna hold you, Albert. That you what? I ain't gonna hold you, Albert. That Rick and Alexis scenes was funny as shit. Christina was waving at Rick. That was funny, but Christina was wrong about one thing. When Molly finds out, she's gonna cut them off. That's true. Um, okay, you just says I saw all three episodes on how Luna used alcohol and will that was supposed to be thrown out and targeted him and then R-word him by the end of the night. What's good, Darby? Okay, so here's the thing. And Monique, I didn't get back to her. So I'm going to just sit there and just. So basically, Monique was like, you would have thought that after the last controversial story, because let's be honest, when it comes towards the R word and soap operas, it's very controversial. You would have thought that they would have learned their lesson. But the truth of the matter is, it makes me think about people's morality, right? One of my subscribers, I don't remember the person's name, or even if I do, I'm not going to really out them. But when it comes down to sideways. All right, let me read your comment, and then we get back to my original thought. If I miss anyone's comments, don't sit there and like lose it. I gotta shut this door. Thank you, Francis. It gets me on target for the next thing. I gotta sit there and say, "What's good, Spider? Give me 1 second. I will answer your question in a second. Um, what's good, Spider? It's good to have you here. Okay, apparently I'm not gonna get by. Darby says, "Are you still mad at Kristen for being a bad role model for her daughter, even though her use, even though her useless father Brady was still in town? to be a role model for her. Okay, why are you actually writing this all in caps, Ed? Like, why is that all in caps? I want to ask you that question. Um, oh yeah, that's definitely going to happen. Autumn, it's definitely going to happen. Yeah, without a doubt, the divorce is definitely going to happen. Okay, why are you hate? Why you hate all caps? Because it just comes across like just wanted to make a point. No, I get that, Ed. I do, but like I'm trying to answer like three or four people's comments. So like, if I don't get to your comment right away, don't like lose your shit. Like, eventually I will get to you. I'm trying to answer Darby's comment first, since he also, yes, it was Allison, and it was a very funny one. So, all right, here's the thing, Darby. I don't understand. Okay, um, I don't understand why you're. I'm still so confused, Darby. You're basically sitting there saying that this isn't all Kristen's fault, that Brady has something to do with it. And I don't understand how. I mean, are you okay, Darby? Are you trolling me when you're saying this? This is my question. Like, are you generally trolling me when you're sitting there saying this, or do you really believe? Okay, but Darby, are you trolling me? That's my question. Because I don't remember the last time that Brady used a gun to sit there. Like, when it comes towards using a weapon to get what they want, a gun, that's Kristen's department, right? How often do people sit there and say that she, like, her attitude and the way that she goes about things, it comes across very Kristen like. She loves her money, she loves her mother, she adores her mother. The bad behavior generally comes from, I don't remember the last time that Brady actually held a bunch of people hostage with a gun. So that's what I'm sitting there saying, like, are you trolling me or something? Or like, um, and thank you, Francis. Because Brady sucks. Okay, but we're talking about being a bad parent though, right? Oh yes, that's true. That's true, Ed. That's true. That's very true. But how often does that okay, that's very true. But how often does that happen compared to when Kristen does it? Yeah, but okay, my whole thing is, Darby, why is okay, I get what your Smith is saying, but I don't feel like that's fair to put that on Brady, right? If the bad behavior, somebody who is consistently doing bad behavior, how is that on Brady? For the most part, she was also sitting there living with I don't know. Okay, all right, we gonna have to agree to disagree because I get what your Smith is saying, but like the bad behavior generally comes from Kristen, so I don't feel that Brady should have to sit there and take um, the brunt of it, or any sort of or any sort of responsibility as far as shooting EJ when that general bad stuff comes from Kristen. But that's just Okay, now Spider says, how do you feel this Brit story currently? I'm liking it, but my own criticism is kind of moving slow because they are only showing Brit like 2 times a week for like 2 or 3 scenes. I, I don't know. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Um, I feel like she is being a bit bratty a little bit, but I also feel like she has. I also feel she has something of a bigger secret. I also feel like she has a bigger secret of why she can't leave, and I'm very curious to sit there and see what it is. Now, as says, what I hate about what happened to Will is that they are downplaying it to Will messing up by sleeping with another girl. That's getting him to realize he was R word. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, to be fair, Darby, I feel like it's a case by case thing. Like, I feel like you're pulling a DC, and we're talking about the Kristen Brady and Rachel situation, not necessarily Sunny. Like, I feel like that's more of a, you know, well, he's a former recovering alcoholic, Ron. There's a difference. So if you're going to say that, how about we get that right? And again, when it comes towards again, when it comes towards Kristen is always known for snitting, pulling a gun, pulling a weapon on people to get what she wants. And Rachel picked up on that. She didn't pick up on getting the gun and using it to get her way through Brady. So, Quick says, all I'm saying is Willow is just playing dumb and Sitwell is fierce at Markham. Well, you read a spoiler or something? Darby is trolling hard tonight. Okay. Listen, I thought I had Ron as my troll, but okay, I'm glad you liked it, Danny. All right. So let's talk about Haley for a minute. Let's switch the topic. Let's talk about Haley for a minute. So I really wanted to stream yesterday, but I also wanted to sit there and finish working on something that I've been working on, a new video. Haley just came across as a complete and utter dumbass. Like, she lacks self awareness. Well, yes, right, because she lacks self awareness. That's the thing. She lacks self awareness. And what's good, Mika? All she kept, even her friend, when her friend was like, "Yo, how about you just chill home tonight?" And I saw people sit there saying, "You need to sit there and chill at home, and mourn your fake miscarriage or whatever." But all she kept saying was, "I'm his husband. I get to sit there and be with him." I was like, "But this isn't." Even when Bill saw her, and Bill was like, "Yo, listen, this isn't about us. This is about Chelsea and what she's going through." And you know what her dumbass sat there and said? "I'm making this about us." I'm like, girl, you are completely fucking vapid. Here's the thing. It was okay, Mika. Arch still pissed me off. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't get a chance to do a review on it, but like Arch still pissed me off because she's still playing victim and still sitting there acting like she didn't do anything wrong. You know? Yo, Darby, you are cracking me up tonight. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Here's the thing: when she sat there and said that she's my stepdaughter, I was like, girl, first of all, okay, well that's Yes. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, Darby, I already saw it in theaters. Yeah, no, I already saw Thunderbolts in theaters. I may watch like certain parts or whatever, but I already saw it in theaters though. Listen, I enjoyed it, Darby. I enjoyed that movie. So, but if you didn't watch it, definitely watch it. Okay, Ron. Yeah, that was really out of pocket. That was really out of pocket. But what else was out of pocket? Oh yeah, then yeah, you watched Alien. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a bad show. I just think that it is a show that like you have to be a huge fan of the franchise. Like it's not. It's like the show is not for casual people. Like if you like it, that's cool. But like I couldn't fully get into it. I really couldn't. There's so much other shows I'm not paying. Yes, good. Well, you know what's really funny, Mika? Somebody said this, and it was so true. They were like, this is what happens when you upgrade the side chick to wifey status. They don't know how to act. Okay, let's be very clear. Haley was the side chick. She was the goddamn side chick. So now that you became a wife, you are like their daughter is missing. And the only thing you can sit there and do is think of, well, I need to be by him. But okay, but the family don't like you. This is a time that maybe you need to sit there and step back. What's good, Jonathan? This is a time that you may need to sit there and step back, right? Like, yo, you've been a side chick for far too long, and now you don't know how to act when you're in a new position. Well, here's the thing, Allison. Okay, so we're talking about the whole Jocelyn thing. One second, Ed. We're talking about the whole Jocelyn thing, right? Now, obviously, I feel like this was, for me, I feel like this was a ploy. I feel like this was a ploy because, like, especially, well, it was towards the end where she was, when they were basically sitting there saying game, set, and match, right? Game, set, and match. Now, it'd be really interesting if they get out the situation, right? And what's actually really interesting? What's good, Alyssa J? Because she's hot. Yeah, that's why. Because she's hot. I mean, let's be honest. The chick looked bad. Now, as says Cass an idiot because she got her brother in a serious situation with Joey. I get she wanted to help Chelsea, but now Martin's in trouble. She's an idiot, but she's also a desperate idiot, right? And it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I guess she felt like Joey was a later problem. The Chelsea thing is a now problem, right? Um, Ron, I feel like she belongs in. I feel like she belongs in juvie. I mean, Ashley. Well, I would sit there and say Ashley wasn't necessary. She wasn't needed in this episode, but like she was. My whole thing is I was. My whole thing, Alyssa. Like I said before, I was like, all right, here's what you need to do. You need to sit there and take a step back. You need to seriously sit there and take a step back. But that's the problem, though, is that she's a very self-centered person. Oh yeah, no, I can, yeah, yeah, I see it, Alyssa. No, that's fine. Whenever you want to become a member again, that's totally okay. It's just good to see you though, Alyssa. I was going to sit there and message you. I just like having you in the streams, Alyssa. You know that. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you. Having you here is part of my birthday present, so I appreciate you just being here. Thank you. Now, Mikhail says getting married because she's hot, not me. I don't care how good you look. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, I'm just saying. Listen, I'm not sitting there saying all men are shallow, but like when I looked at it, was like, I was like, I understand. Like, like I get it. You know. I won't be live streaming this Saturday. Sunday I'll be streaming. Saturday I'm going out. Saturday I'm going out. Johnson says, but ranking says episode GH is number one, Beyond the Gates is number two, Days is number three, Y number is number four, and B is number five. Okay. Makes me sit there and think about each one. Yeah, and I'll be streaming this Sunday. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, Ron. You're actually making sense to me. Actually, that's actually not what I said. Well, it's a Darby show. Darby. I think Darby is probably Darby. How much you been drinking? What? Hold on. Did you hear on the source negative returning to the Predator and also Danny Glover to believe they said both actors are going to do the animated Predator future film. Here's the thing. I wish I was a huge fan of the franchise because I would probably really be eating up this Alien show. But like, I don't know. I'm just not that invested into it. Also, but I mean, here's the thing. I get that Wendy is in an adult body and she's a kid, but like, she's just doing whatever the hell she wants. Like she's just running around. You have, and the brother's a moron. The brother's a moron. Actually, tell you the truth, Darby, I actually haven't drank in like a couple of days. I think I actually started drinking again like maybe Monday. I would sit there and say this about Beyond the Gates, Jonathan. And Alyssa, this is just my opinion, so don't take it personal. The story, this this kidnapping story with Chelsea is a good story, but it's bad. It was good, Amber. It's the only thing that's really stopping this story from being absolutely good is the fact that both of these actresses aren't really that good. The chick that plays Allison is not a good actress, and the chick that plays Chelsea is not a good actress. They're they're just they're not Sophia bad, but like they're not Sophia like on Beyond the Gates, but like they're they're really bad. Like they are really fucking bad. Yeah, just I just took a little bit of a break. Not a huge break, but just a little bit of a break down. Yeah, I respect your opinion, Alyssa. Yeah, Sophia on Days. Sophia on Days is just bad. She's just she's bad, in my opinion. She's bad. Oh, let me do the whole Drew thing. In my opinion, she's bad. Oh, sorry. In my opinion, she's bad. Um, I get that that's her aunt, and she wants to sit there and protect, protect Holly and everything like that. But I'm kind of just like, even yesterday when she was in there talking to Sophia, I was like, this is not your place. Ed, remember what you said? I think not yesterday, but I think it was on Monday. You was like, everybody in the family was sitting there giving this chick advice, and she chose not to. She chose to listen to none of it. She chose to listen to not a goddamn thing. Yeah, she chose not to listen to a damn thing. I'm like, what am I watching at this point? What was the point of her doing these stupid ass dream sequences if you weren't going to sit there and play the part and to try to get out? All she kept doing was antagonizing this woman, which made her situation way worse, which of course meant that she had to sit there and try to act in a certain way, which she with range, which she clearly cannot do, and it just made it very difficult to watch. Let's get Kawan. Speaking of which, what did you think of Sophia taking a job at the Brady Pub, knowing Kate is going to work there? Desperate, desperate and pathetic, just like Ivory. Desperate and pathetic, just like Ivory. Yeah, and that's the problem, right? That's why I'm sitting there saying like this isn't a bad story. It's just being played out by two actresses that can't fucking act. They're they're they okay. They can't act this out in a way where it's like it needs to be acted out. Yeah, Ivory on B&B. Um, and the sad thing is that even Tate was like, you're getting this job here. You're getting this job here, but I work here. Like he called her out, and she was like, "Oh, well, I didn't sit there and think there was like only you can sit there and work here." It's like no, but he literally sat there and called you out for not moving on, for um only getting the job because he's working there. Oh, you're so full of yourself, but he's not wrong though. Gorgeous Queen Janet. This woman is just fucking amazing. I'm sorry I had to swear, but I'm not sorry because you're amazing. Um, but yeah, because it's played by it's played by two actors that can actually carry the scene. Now, did we talk about Rick's mouth? We did not, but I knew it. I hot Haley is hot. Otherwise, a waste of time. This is why I fuck with this is why I fuck with Janet. This is why. This is why. Like this is exactly why. This woman is awesome. Rick has a fetish. Um, Ava has a fetish. That was Ava's gag ball. Ava has a fetish. That was like I knew it was Ava. I knew it was Ava. Listen, Ava belongs in jail, but like Ava's a freak. Ava's a freak. I addressed that question in a sense. Um, I said it was a good scene because it's played by two people that can act. Old is so slow going. Bold has a problem, right? When when um when Luna said that she had a plan, so let's blame it on women again, bro. Okay, I'm gonna say this once, so this way we could just move on because apparently I can't. First of all, Darby, let me ask you a question. What are you drinking tonight? I think that's the more important question before I can get to what I'm going to get to. What are you drinking tonight? Don't sit there and tell me it's nothing. I want to know what you're drinking. Apparently, this man can't sit there and hold his liquor. Well, yes. Well, actually, it's probably a little bit more. It's a little bit more. Okay, Darby, I'm going to sit there and say this once. And I'm going to get back to that in a second, Alyssa. I'm putting the blame more on Kristen because Kristen has a very bad behavior, and a particular bad behavior with using firearms to get what she wants. Rachel picked up on that, like Rachel picked up on a lot of her bad behavior, which is why she doesn't have any friends. Her mother doesn't have any friends, right? Her mother doesn't have any friends except for one person. Nobody came to this girl's birthday party because she wanted to sit there and emulate her mother. So we're not gonna put Brady on this, you know. So that's the truth. That's why. But you know, Darby, listen, I respect your opinion. I'm cool with it. What's good, Big Nate? I'm cool with it. I like Tamara Brown as an actress, so I'm cool with it. I think that she'd be much more useful on Y&R than she was on Days of Our Lives because when Tripp left, she had no purpose on the show. That's that's my um that's my thing. So I'm cool with her being on the show. They were okay. Now, as says, I agree with you on saying Vernon needs something to do in your last stream because Bill shouldn't have to be the one and removing Leslie today. No, but it was funny. I'm not gonna lie, that was actually funny, and it was kind of unexpected that he hugged Anita and Anita embraced him. Um, so that was an interesting thing. All right, so here's my thing when it comes to us. What's good, DC? We're kind of talking about you. Darby was kind of emulating your behavior. So, all right. So here's my thing, Alyssa. When it comes towards this R word story, right? Ron, you watched it. You know exactly why You know exactly why Pat stopped investigating. Why he stopped investigating into Alex because his daughter asked him to. Okay. So, DC, I'm so glad that you're here. DC, I'm going to sit there and use you as an example. And this is not in a bad way, but this is just to make a certain point about the morality when it comes towards people. So here's my thing, right? First of all, I'm just going to start by saying that the R word for a lot of people is very triggering, right? So for those people, I understand that, right? I understand people just not liking it for that reason. Now, DC made a point a couple of days ago. One second, Ed. I'm gonna get to you in a second. DC said that sexual assault and killing, he puts them in the same category. For me, I feel like sexual assault is a little bit higher. Yeah, I know, listen. That's why I was saying like I understand that. Now, for me, I personally put SA higher because I feel like it's the murdering of a soul. But we kind of see it a little bit differently. People are getting really upset about this story, and they feel like it's going too far. But where is exactly exactly, do you see? But like, where was that? It's like the morality of people is very interesting, right? Because no one sat there and gave the same anger when Luna unalived two people. She unalived two people. She was going to unalive two more people. People didn't sit there and push back towards it. So, but the SA storyline comes in, and people's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You went too far." It's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! You went too far." So it wasn't too far when she unalived two people, but it's too far when she SA someone. Well, I mean, listen, I'm not talking to you specifically. And like I said, well, I already said what I said in the beginning, so you know what I'm talking about. Darby says, I'm asking you, Albert, are you still saying the guy who used to, Darby, broski, let it go, my guy, let it go. Okay, I'm asking you, Albert, are you saying that the guy who used guns to get their way are better role models for their children than women for their children? I don't get what you're saying. I don't understand. Where's that going though, Darby? Then, then their children, then women for their children? What? But today I will let it go. I don't even understand that question, bro. Did did you type that drunk? Are you drunk typing? I'm asking you, Albert. Are you saying that the guy who uses guns to get their way are better role models for their children than women for their children? Well, no, but like I feel like you're using an extreme case, and you're kind of using some example. Like you're going way off topic to sit there and make your point valid, and that's why I'm losing you. This is what DC does. Like DC does that. You seem to prefer men who use guns than women, bro. Is is that actually your takeaway? Like, really? Are you joking? Are you serious about that? Yes, because again, my thing is, Ed, she sat there and said, "I still blame you because you didn't warn me about what you did with Drew. If you would have done that, then I wouldn't have been with Drew. But you're with Drew now, so it doesn't really matter." I don't. Okay, Dari, I'm. I don't really understand. Okay, Dari, I feel like you're trying to validate your point in a very convoluted way, and that's the part where you're losing. That's the point. That's the point where you're losing, because this is about Rachel emulating Kristen's behavior. I don't understand where you got to a point where men and women and guns and I was like, bro, dog, you've been done like 15 minutes ago, but you made me laugh, so I'm happy about that. Thank you. I just, she is a lost cause, but like my whole thing is like both of these women, both of these women seem to not take the. I actually tell you the truth, I feel like that's a family trait, right? Like, oh no, you actually no, dog, you made me laugh, so I'm very happy. Sean says what I miss. Darby being drunk. You missed that part. You missed Darby being drunk, and apparently he can't handle his alcohol, which is it's fine. Listen, I get it. We were all lightweights once, but it's cool. Exactly. Yes. Seriously, Sean, he cannot handle his alcohol. Nell can take responsibility for her actions. We've seen that she can't take responsibility for her actions. And now Willow, she can't take responsibility for her actions. Alyssa says, I haven't been watching Days lately, but Alex being suspect by Kayla isn't surprising. Um, like I said, she's a bad actress. Ah, I get it. So basically, what I'm sitting there saying is anyone that doesn't agree with me, I'm basically sitting there saying that they're drunk. What? Albert is an enabler. Also, this is why if Cat Lady is with him, they share a daughter, and she's doing wrong, Albert will side with her. You know, um, an interesting storyline from you, Ron. I appreciate that. I don't think Cat Lady does, but I appreciate that. Yes, Allison. It's called. But let's be very clear now. I'm gonna say this again because apparently this shit needs to be said. Okay, I'm gonna sit there and say this again. Nina is a very poorly written character, right? I think Ron wants you and Kelly together. I feel like he mentions it. Well, yes. Well, he got some interesting storylines. So I appreciate his interesting storyline. I'm just saying, Darby. Okay, what was I sitting there saying before? What was I saying before? What was I saying before? Fuck me sideways. I had something to say. I totally fucking forgot what it was. Ah, no, Darby. I'm not going too hard body. I got and I got work tomorrow in the morning. So fucking Jesus. Um. So Ray can try to stop her. Nina. Yes, I will be live streaming tomorrow, Sean. You have a great night. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Thank you for coming through. Oh, Ron, you really missed a character. You really missed that character that bad, huh? Nina. Now I forgot what I was actually going to sit there and say about her. Oh, you're still okay. Usually when you say that, you usually about to leave. Yeah, I had the day off, Darby. And yet I still felt like I was like falling behind. All right, I'm just gonna sit there and let y'all know right now. All right? So it was easier to do these live streams when they were four soap operas, okay? And I wasn't doing like reviews, and I wasn't doing like two reviews a day. But like, it's don't get me wrong, I'm still gonna do the live streams, but the times may change from time to time, and I may have to sit there and take a day off or 2 days off or whatever. Um, but it just comes with the territory of doing all five soaps. It gave my favorite internet person a hard time. Darby, you were trolling. Listen, I'm here for the trolling, Darby. I'm here for the trolling. I just, I don't think that you fully believe what you were saying. Spikewick says you should do a collab with Brock soon. Y'all are on opposites with the gays. He's really loving it. You clearly think it's the worst. Yeah, I gotta sit there and I gotta hit him up. I gotta hit him up. I don't know how I'm gonna do it though, Spider, but that's the problem. There's there's some issues that can come with that. Not with him specifically, but like how we go about it. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, absolutely, Spider. I don't think it's necessarily. I definitely want to do a review. I definitely want to do a live stream with him. I'll sit there and say that much. It's how I go about it is going to be the challenge. Sean says Carly is pathetic. Why is Carly pathetic? I'm interested. I want to know. I want to know why is Carly pathetic. Ed says Elizabeth was also able to stand up to Carly back when Carly confronted her about Jack. Oh, Jake being Jason's son when Carly came back to the house. Thank you. That's what I had to sit there and say. What's good, Stefan? You were. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay, yeah, Ron. Okay, you like Aaron. Okay. Over Stephanie. Okay. Thank you. That's what I had to sit there and say. She's a very poorly written character. She is a punching bag Carly, right? Like Ed said before, people were able to stand up to her. Like Elizabeth was able to stand up to her. Sam, um, uh, Brenda was able to stand up to her. But when it got towards Carly, but when it got towards Nina, they was like, no, they're going to make somebody much weaker to sit there and go up against. Robin was another person that stood up to Carly. Yeah, no, thank you, Spike. Yeah, Robin was another person who was able to sit there and stand up to Carly. But Nina, they've written Nina so poorly and so much of a dingbat that she can't stand up to Carly. And it's because the show favors Carly. The show favors Carly over Nina. I mean, the show favors Carly in general. That's not, okay. Let me put it this way. And I'm gonna get to people's questions in a second. AJ. AJ, the first AJ that was played by who was the first AJ played by? Chat, who was the first AJ played by? Sean Caden. God damn it. Sean Caden. Sean Caden looked like on a physical level, he can put thank you, Ed, and thank you, Allison. Sean Caden looked like he can put up a physical threat against Sonny, right? So what did they do because they want to sit there and favor Sonny? They got a shorter person, played by Billy Warlock, to go up against Sonny, right? And then suddenly AJ was the bad guy. And he was the type of person he couldn't physically go up against Sonny. Even though that Sonny technically is a short person, they had to make sure that he was going to be going up against somebody that was physically shorter than him. The show has always favored Sonny, Jason, and Carly, right? Then we get to Carly. Now we got to sit there and have an easy win for Carly. So what did they do? They get Nina Reeves. Danny Bear 87. What's good, Danny Bear? Did you figure out your technical issues? I was there last weekend, I think. And what did they do? They made sure that they wrote Nina in the most dingbaggish, idiotic way possible. It's not necessarily that Carly is just a strong person. She just goes up against weaker people. Weaker and more stupider people like Nina. I think it has something to do with your iPods, right? Yeah, she's a dingbat. She's written that way. Why couldn't you find somebody that was more confident? Okay, you know what the sad part is, and this is just me spitballing. I feel like if Nina was played by Michelle Stafford, they may not have written her so stupid. Yes, there we go, Sean. Yes, a jobber. And yeah, I know what a jobber is. Darby says neither of the AJ were ever a real threat for Sonny. Sonny never should have shot him. I bet he still regrets shooting him to this day. Threw them away. Okay. Well, I mean, they weren't any good. So yeah, throw them away. Don't be a back rat. I get that. I get that. He was not the first. No, no, I suspect he wasn't. And yeah, we saw who the first Edward was back in the memory streams. So the first Edwards. That says women who handle Carly. We had Brenda, Robin, Kate, aka Connie, Britt, Sam, Claudia, Ava, Elizabeth, Carly's childhood friend, and now. Reese, right? Was that her name, Reese? Who was her? What was it? Michael even over it. Yeah, Reese. Okay. I'm not gonna lie. Part of me is like, I gotta sit there and see what that actress is doing. Spoiler: she's the same person that played on the show Sliders. I gotta see what her ass is doing. Yeah. Danny says, I didn't like Reese. She had a very punchable face. Now let me tell you something. Danny Bear is like the sweetest person on earth, right? Oh, thank you. She is literally, thank you, Sean. She is literally the sweetest person on earth. Okay, she doesn't do why everything has to be in fucking lowercase. God damn. All right, I will look her up later for reasons I'm not going to discuss here. But yeah, exactly. So she probably just Danny, what you drinking tonight? Yeah, exactly. She wouldn't have took that. Now, Ed, tell me your list of show. Tell me your list of soap operas that you watch again. Root Bear. It's funny. Whenever I sit there and I accuse DC of sitting there drinking. He always sits there and says, "Oh, I'm drinking water. I'm drinking something else." It's just so not like you to talk about hitting people and beyond the gates. Okay, okay. Danny says Phyllis was acting very mean at the time. Phyllis is on one. Phyllis is on one. I don't like the imbalance in the show. I mean, Audra still comes across, tries to act like she's a victim. Nate is, I feel like he wants to take her back, but like, it's funny. This is the reason why I will always love Devon because Devon was like, dude, okay. Because he kept going back and forth. Nate kept going back and forth, and Devon was like, okay, dude. He was like, dude, if you had to sit there and either believe Audra or believe Claire, who would you believe? He was like, well, I guess I'll sit there and believe I guess I'll believe Claire. It's like, there you go. So this whole back and forth is a waste of goddamn time. Okay. Well, Ed, I totally get it. Listen, these three, watching three soap operas is a lot. Watching three soap operas is a lot. Okay? So, like, I totally get it. But Ed, you understand my position when I'm watching five soap operas. And that's not including Hollyoaks, which is like six, it's like five and a half. But GH moving to Sean said GH moving to three next week. What do you mean it's moving to three next week? You mean like the time frame? You mean like from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.? Is that what you mean by that? What do you mean by GH is moving to three next week? What do you mean? I did not follow. Time frame. Okay. Yeah, 3 to 4. Okay, I got you. But yes, that's what I was sitting there saying. I'm like, the issue with Y&R that people well, there's a couple of issues, but like one of the issues that I've heard multiple times is that they always have Victor win. Anytime somebody comes in, they have Victor win. Kane comes in, he's this billionaire, he's been hiding as Dumas for like 5 something years. And like the minute he gets to Genoa City, under 2 weeks, under 2 goddamn weeks, he's pretty much bending a knee to Victor because Victor got blackmailed. I'm like, we need somebody to sit there and go toe to toe. That's not Jack Abbott. We need somebody to go toe to toe with Victor. We need Victor to sit there, and maybe lose a round or something. But it's like Eric Braeden just has all this power, which I like Eric Braeden, but like y'all favor Victor so goddamn much. He didn't say that Victor is the boss. Yeah, Sean's going off. No, I'm not gonna answer for Sean. But like I get in some ways people will sit there and consider Victor Newman the heart and soul of Young and Restless, but like, bro, you can have him lose a round. You can have him sweat a little bit. You can have him sit there and put in some work to actually beat an opponent. No, they don't want to do that. They don't want to sit there and change that formula. Yeah, Steve Nichols or whatever, right? Steve Nichols, I think. So like, that's my thing. That's my thing. It's that's the issue. Yeah, and from Brock, what Brock was going to tell me, like that version of Tucker gave Victor a run for his money, made him sweat, made him put in actual work, right? But the fans are treated to that, so you know. But people still watch that at loyalty. All right, Sean, you have a great night. Thank you for joining. Um, so yeah, it just comes across as a bit of rinse and repeat. Thank you, Sean. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Oh yeah, no, listen, I still watch one. Danny says it's stupid because if Victor knew Kane was Dumas, then why didn't he such him down earlier? Stupid, boring writing. Facts, facts. That yes, they either lose, die, or leave. Yes, and I honestly tell you the truth, when I look at Beyond the Gates, look at Beyond the Gates, I think that's another reason. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of another reason. Like, I don't really connect with a lot of the characters on the show. Um, Jacob is okay. Bill is messy, but other than Bill being, Bill's a great actor, right? Like, Bill is a great actor. Danny is a great, she's a great actor. She's an interesting character. Oh wow! So like 4 years ago, okay, so about like 5 years ago, you start watching it. I get it. Um, she's a great actress. She brings a certain level of fire to the show. But Leslie is cartoon as fuck, and every time that she's on the show, I'm just like, she's just annoying. She's really annoying. Leslie is annoying. Naomi, I care. Here's the thing: I care more about Naomi than I do about Chelsea. And don't get me wrong, like the show. This is why I put the show in last. There's a couple of issues that I have with Beyond the Gates, and I talk about this shit all the time. And I'm not hating. I don't hate the show. Blah. I don't. But like, oh, Allison. I mean, Alyssa, that was funny as fuck. Alyssa, that was funny as hell. Um, I'll be honest. Listen, Haley's good to look at. For me personally, I know people have sat there and say, "Oh, I think that Danny looks better than Haley." Well, that's some people's opinion, and beauty is the eye of the beholder. But like, I like how Haley looks. The problem with Haley comes in her personality. That's the thing about Haley. Haley's personality is just dumb, right? She's written very piss poorly. I mean, let's be honest, she's a side chick that got upgraded to wifey status, and clearly that was the wrong move. What's good, Sir Charles? How the hell have you been? Good to see you. It's I don't know. Well, that's the thing, Danny. So I said this earlier, and I sit there and say it again. Bill was like, "Yo, listen, this isn't about me and you right now. This is about Chelsea. This is about me and Danny sitting there trying to find our girl." And what did Haley sit there and say? I'm making this about us. I'm sorry, did you just sit there and say that you're making this about you and him? And then she starts listing off all the things. Oh, you shut me out of this. You don't keep me in that. I want to be kept in the loop. I'm your wife. She keeps that they're claiming on to that. It's like you. I literally sit there and think I'm like, you cannot be this stupid. You cannot be this dumb. She came in there making a giant fuss. I'm like, girl, this is not the time for that. But her vapid ass, because that's what she is. She's a very vapid woman, wanted to sit there and make a scene at the worst possible time. And then her dumbass sat there and said, but I'm her stepmother. Now, granted, again, this is an incredible story this is a good story. It's being played out by two actresses that are mediocre to really bad. They're bad actresses. And the thing about this story is like, this show, what I like, she checked, yeah, she did. As says, so when you talk about why there are certain problems, I get it, a slow pace and can be good when it wants to. It can be good when it wants to. They have good characters that I can sit there and watch. So like with Y&R, even when the pace is slow, I can sit there and watch. Um, but let me get to this comment for a second. I can watch Devon. I can watch Nate, and sometimes from Lily's not being an annoying ass woman, I can watch Lily, right? I can watch for the characters, even when the show isn't, even when the episode isn't super great. I can't say the same thing for Beyond the Gates. Beyond the Gates loses people for a couple of different reasons, right? Now, I'm not going to sit there and try to stereotype this, but let's be honest. Most of these soap operas, you know, usually the people that watch them the most is older people, right? Grandmas and stuff like that. Yes, Allison. I mean, oh fuck. Yes, Alyssa. Why do I keep calling you Allison? I've been drinking, so don't blame me. Yes, Alyssa. We don't. It's funny. We don't know if he's actually coming back as Nathan or if he's coming back as an evil twin. I hope he comes back as Nathan personally. Of course, people are upset because it's gonna mess up the whole Spinelli and Maxie thing. So yeah, what I was thinking saying was, so Beyond the Gates, I give them a lot of props for being up to date in a new age soap, right? So they talk about certain things like Instagram and shade in the shade room or the shade club or whatever, um, influencers and stuff like that. And I think that's pretty cool. But you tend to lose the older crowd when you talk about that stuff. And when it comes to our soaps, like the older crowd are usually the people that sit there and watch this stuff the most, right? So I can see why it's not hitting for an older crowd. And listen, that's cool. Listen, if you want to get newer people into it, get more of the youth and the next generation to sit there and watch these soaps. I think that's cool. But it's a double-edged sword when you sit there talking about Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that. And some of these older people just like, what's a Facebook? What's a Twitter? Oh, I don't go on that stuff. I don't use the internet. It sounds kind of silly, but you do tend to lose some of the older people for that. Okay, I will sit there and say this, and this is something that I got from GHMV, and I agree. Here's the thing about Maxie and Spinelli. Maxie and Spinelli probably worked back then because they were so opposites. Maxie, other people are on these social media sites just as much as it's not okay. But what I'm saying is not as popular. Yes, Danny. Yeah, there's some people. There's some older people that do use social media, but most older people, like if we go by numbers and a percentage, most older people don't really. They don't talk about the internet. Internet is kind of foreign to them. They don't. It's not really their thing. And so I feel like when they talk about it on the show, older people are just like, but yeah, Maxie and Spinelli worked back in the day because Maxie and Spinelli, like, Maxie was a different person back then. Maxie was unapologetic. She was a wild child. She was reckless and all that stuff. Spinelli was like the geek and stuff like that. So it's like you have the hot chick and the geek and everything. And that's what made it's like their two worlds collided. Their two worlds collided. Um, Now Maxie is a more responsible woman. She's a businesswoman. She's a mother. You know, Spinelli isn't really as geeky as he was back then. So like that stuff doesn't really work the same. It doesn't. That's why like it probably doesn't really work that much. And I can tell you when Lily took a turn for the worse is when Hayley came on the show before the actress who was brought back as her 20 minute. How did she took it? Well, I don't know. I wasn't watching back then, so I guess I have to sit there and take your opinion for it. But like for me, she took a turn for the worse after Nice. When Nice started, that's when Lily got on. Danny says it's good that Beyond the Gates is being more modern. Queen Jess, then them and Days are the most modern souls with how they talk in their storylines. Oh, Jess, you're here. All right, Jess, you know I'm about to sit there and say it, so I'm not even gonna say it. You know where this is going. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, Beyond the Gates is it's not. I mean, listen, I watch it because I'm a soap opera content creator, And I find value in some of the stuff that they do. And I know people watch it, so I watch it and we talk about it. I wouldn't sit there and put that, how are you liking the Chelsea Kidnap storyline? The story is great. The actresses that play them can't act. They are, they're kind of shitty actresses, if we're going to be honest. That's the problem. If they were played by two other women that can actually carry the scene, it would be a lot more enjoyable. That's the problem. That it's a good story. It highlights it. Both of them are bad actresses. They're like they're both bad actresses. Like Bill, like okay, like Bill and Danny, like they're killing it with this part. Hayley's a moron, which is a problem. But like you know, she just the fact that Jess says the writing for this story is all over the place, and she's just not convincing. And Craig being an escort is so stupid, but it's entertaining. It's the way, yeah. It's a good story because it also highlights Ashley's acting is really bad compared to Allison. Oh, okay, let me read the top one first. I'm gonna get to your comment. You just gotta, like, you know, I got you, my guy. Just, relax a little bit. I got you. As says she, okay. Papa says she was justified at first with Haley when, oh, she was justified with Hillary when Hillary cheated on Neil with Devon. But after Neil moved on and Hillary got better, she tried to make Hillary her punching bag, but Hillary wasn't having it. I heard that Hillary was a force of nature. I heard she was a force. I also heard that the actress was a force of nature too. I think Allison is worse with her big bulgy eyes. She's so yeah. It's just, but again, Jess. So I'll repeat this because you just got here. Okay, just remember that dream sequence when her family was giving her advice on what to do. Hey, listen, how about you just play the game, lure her into a false sense of security, just don't give too much, but give just enough to sit there and lower her guard. And she took all that advice and said, fuck it. And she enraged this woman. She it was just like, what was, and she hasn't done anything. And that was my point, Jess. If we're gonna sit through this stupid ass dream sequence, at least do the shit that they're telling you to do. Otherwise, what was the point of it? I thought it was silly, but I was like, okay, cool. Maybe that's her way. I don't think Naomi is good. There's a lot of people that's not good, if we're going to be honest. Like I said, if I had to sit there and name a list, it's going to be a pretty long fucking list. But Eden says, came late, don't understand. Don't understand what? Came late, came late, don't understand. Well, listen, you're not going to get any heat. That's just your opinion. You know? Why would you, what is it about? We're talking about soaps. Just says Jacob is useless. Stephen says couldn't stand those jean sequences, and I wonder why she didn't move the bed. That's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, the chick don't look like she's weak. Like she look like she can kind of pick up the bed and drag it a little bit, but like I'm just like, girl, play the game. You're just being stupid right now. Yeah, if she would have sat there and listened to at least one of her family, it's funny because Anita, I think it was Danny and Bill was like, no, she isn't. But it's like both of them say, hey, listen, if you lure her into a false sense of security, then you can probably lure her out and get her close and take her out or whatever. And that says, oh, okay, I'm a YNR fan, was guiding light as the world turned on the beautiful all since the mid '70s. Guiding light is interesting. Like I haven't watched the show, but like I've seen clips. What's that chick's name? What's that chick's name? Annie Dutton. Annie Dutton has got to be my favorite character on Guiding Light. Annie Dutton. Listen, if you thought that Nina was wild, y'all didn't see shit until y'all saw Annie Dutton. Like, yo, that chick was wild. Cynthia Watros killed that role. Like, yeah, she does a good Nina, but Annie Dutton. Ed says you missed out on YNR, Hillary Curtis character, and she was a force of nature. Yeah. And Matt says I'm new and shocked to see a man fan. I love Regal on Garden Lake. Yeah, I didn't watch any clips of Reba. I think it was Reba, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, men watch soap operas too. Just as on GH, I think the plan of hiding Rick is pretty stupid. Why? Besides the fact that the dude can sit there and get a head infection, a wound infection, or something like that and die? Or, why? As says Chelsea can take Allison, but you would think after Allison put a knife to her face, she would play the game. You would think so, right? But see, that requires a brain, and clearly Chelsea don't have one or comprehension skills. Again, you made us sit through a gene sequence for what reason? They're going to get caught. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, they're going to get caught. But again, let me tell you about Ava. Ava, this is the second time that you box somebody on the head. And what are you going to tell the cops? Oh, well, Rick was going to sit there and steal half the embezzlement money that we were blackmailing Alexis to sit there and take. Like, what? Just says, aren't the bonds Rick invested going to be in his account? How the F are they going to get them? And also, Ava can't be trusted. Ed, yes, she's very sure, and she's very correct. But like, yeah, that's actually true. And this is why I sit there. This is why I always sit there and say that Justice sit there and start a YouTube channel. Let me know if you agree with me about that too, Ed. And say Ed agrees. Yes, so there you go. That's a ringing endorsement. Just says Alexis needs to stop letting Christina get her into shit and use her brain. Damn, ain't she a lawyer? Yeah, she's a lawyer who had to sit there and ask Molly for help. So, but yes, even as agrees. That's what I was like. Yeah, no, Jess made a very good point. And these these shows are something else. These shows are other way. They will they will all get in jail, so it's just stupid. I mean, that's the thing, though. Just you would think that they would all be in jail, but like, really, I feel like for the sake of the story, not for the sake of realism, um, most of them aren't going to go to jail. Exactly, they won't go to jail. Exactly. That's yes, and that's another thing. Yes. Okay, it was about five people. Yes, getting her hands free and do the moves Bill told her to do to knock her out. Yeah, they ain't going to jail. That doesn't mean that they shouldn't go to jail. Let's be very clear. All of that, including well, here's the thing. First, Ava should have went to jail for comment, right? Ava should have went to jail for messing with Morgan's pills. Okay? And yes, I know. Sonny and Jason should have went to jail a long time ago. We're not talking about them. Fuck it. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about Ava. Ava's dumbass belongs in jail. Okay? She belongs in jail. You damn near unalive somebody because they were going to cut you out of money that y'all were blackmailing from a trust fund for a goddamn baby. What the fuck is wrong with you? Yes, yes, Danny. I said the same thing. Danny, I said the same thing. I was like, she gonna use those goddamn pills. Yeah, they should be in jail. Well, yes, I understand. They all should be in jail, but I'm talking about Ava right now. I mean, how many times you gonna sit there and clock somebody upside the head or do all sorts of impulsive? It's funny too because she sits there and she gets upset with Christina and she calls her impulsive. Girl, all Rick did was walk away with money that you should have never had in the first place. And because what? He didn't listen to you, you clock him upside the head? So because Christina walked away from you, you decide to grab her and she goes out of a window and a baby dies and you sit there and say, Whoopsie daisy, it was just an accident. I didn't mean to do that. Oh, you need to be in jail. So this way, no more accidents just winds up happening. Yes, thank you. And I forgot about the whole lowering Sonny's pills and almost killing. Well, yeah, I said almost killing Nicholas. Yes. AJ, yes. Julian was a little bit different. Julian literally sat there and tried to go after the gun, and Sonny. I mean, if we're gonna be honest, Sonny should have went to jail for a long time for killing a FBI agent. If we're gonna be honest, the fact that I think that's probably okay. There's a lot of slaps in the face, but that's damn sure one of them. Okay, he took out an FBI agent. Listen, let me tell you something. The FBI don't play. Okay, the fact that he is still walking free and sure, she didn't learn shit from Morgan. Um, but like I said, he tried. Okay, he. I feel like I'm playing devil's advocate. He tracked him down, yes, but if you remember the scene correct, if you remember the scene, Julian dove at Sonny when he had to go. Like he was going to sit there and try to take. I got to go back. Erase everything I just said. Let me go back and rewatch the scene because I think the scene actually tells a different story. But I want to make sure that I get my ducks in a row. I want to get my facts straight. Okay, I want to get my facts straight. I don't need to sit there and be trying to you know. Oh, good. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll play it. I mean, I don't know about now, but I think the scene adds a little bit of nuance to it, though. You're sitting there saying it doesn't matter, like it does matter, right? I can hunt somebody down, but if somebody comes at me with a knife and I have to defend myself, I'm still in the right. Yeah, he went down there to sit there and find Julia, but when he got there, the scene played out a little bit different. I don't think it was necessarily um, in my personal opinion, but that's just me. Now I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna. Oh shit! Hold on. Hold on. Let me see something. Yeah. Close out this a little bit different. Close this out a little bit different. If I can find it. There it is. Uh, yes, exactly. I was. I'm looking at the scene now, so I'm gonna watch it tonight just to make sure I get my facts straight. You, uh, okay, Danny? I will agree to disagree on that, but what was that goddamn scene? Okay, before I close this out, I'm gonna close this out in a new way. Close out this streaming room in a new way. Some of y'all seen this, some of y'all didn't. We're gonna watch it together. Y'all tell me who doesn't have swag in this video. There we go, Ed. You look stiff as hell. Facts, just facts. Facts. Cameron, listen, Cameron was doing his thing, right? I was like, yeah, Cameron, okay, my dude got some swag. And then you sit there and see Sonny. I'm just like, bro, you all right? You look like you about to sit there and break a hip there. You good, bro? I was like, God damn, bro. Just says Sonny's dancing like an old man. I mean, I would sit there and say, to be fair, he is an old man. But when I was at my wedding, when I was at my friend's wedding, my friend's parents was dancing, like, you know. I mean, we were all dancing, but like, God damn, bro. But to be fair, Sonny is an old man. like Sonny is an old man, man. If we're gonna be honest, but like, I mean, to be fair, Fiona Hughes is an older woman, and you know that, you know, she clearly still has some swag in her. So, as says, I've seen old people older than Sonny. Facts. I've seen it too. About a month and a half ago. Yeah. Like I said, my friend's parents was. We're gonna be honest. My friend's parents was actually putting me to shame. So when it comes, I mean, I did my thing, but like, you know, when it comes to us older people, like, you know, I don't know what the hell Sonny was doing. That's all I'm gonna sit there and say about that. Anyway, I'm gonna end the stream here because I do actually have to wake up somewhat early and watch these soaps so I could do the stream tomorrow. So I need to get a head start. With that being said, I'm gonna go. Have a good night, Ed. Have a good night, Allison. Have a good night, Queen Jess. Have a good night, Queen Janet. Have a good night, Alyssa. Have a good night, Ronnie Ron, which she's probably asleep. Have a good night, Allison. It was great to see you. Have a good night, Stephen, aka Quiet Guy. Have a good night, Jonathan. Have a good night, Danny Bear. Also, check out Danny Bear's content. Subscribe to Danny Bear's channel. She does live streams on Saturdays. She puts out shorts. So definitely support this talented woman. No, I'm being dead ass serious. Like, actually go and subscribe to her channel right now. Like, you just click on her profile and subscribe to her. So, have a night, Jonathan. Of course, Danny, of course. I got you. All right. With that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you on the next stream. Also, become members. If you're not a member, become a member. Oh, that's what I had to sit there and say before I even end this shit. So I'm trying a new video format. I'm not going to sit there and say with the video I'm currently working on. But if it works out well, there's going to be some videos that I'm going to be doing for members only. And then there's going to be some videos I'm going to be doing for just the general public, for everyone. Things I've been working on. I'm excited. So just a bit of a heads up, but I'll probably put out a community post at some point talking more about it. If you're a member, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not a member, hopefully when I get done, you'll see. Okay. Laters.